You think Common Ground is worth a buck? Consider leaving a tip at lptv.org. Lakeland Public Television presents Common Ground, brought to you by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.
I'm Christine McHugh, and I'm a theater director and a life coach, and I've combined these two forms to help people explore their stories. And in this case, today, we're working with a wonderful man. His name is Okokon Udo, and he is Nigerian American. He is a leader in the leadership field. He's a great facilitator and a coach. And he's telling the story about how he came to understand the roots of colonial oppression in his Nigerian historical background, and how that's been internalized through society, through family, through just decades of generational understanding about identity, and how he's come to realize that that is a way that he perpetuates oppression within himself.
My wife, Lydia, asked me why I have brought her to this God-forsaken country. I told her it is my duty, that refusing this posting is akin to spitting on His Majesty King George V's face. So
it's been a really deep exploration of identity, and in particular, the story or the voices that keep us from being our full and excellent selves.
I made a pledge to save God and country, and I am in Nigeria as the Undersecretary of the Governor General at my sovereign's request. I did not invest time in foreign service to throw it all away, by God. Lydia says these people are savages and that violence is in the air. I am Okokon Udo, and I am here to perform a one-man show on internalized oppression. And the title is Attractive Children, One Man's Unmasking of Internalized Oppression. So it's a story that I'm going to be telling. We have brought the rule of law to this country. We have united the North and the South. And most importantly, we have brought them redemption through the word of the Lord, our God. The story that is going to come through in the play is the story of my life. And it is a slice of my life that has had significant impact on me. It is how the experiences that my country went through with colonialism and the whole missionary activities have impacted how my people feel about themselves, the experiences they continue to have that has self-doubt, embedded in who they are. I have been greatly inspired by the writing of Lord Lugard, and I would want to read a part of it that speaks to the character of these Nigerians. In character and temperament, the typical African of this race type is a happy, thriftless, excitable person, lacking in self-control, discipline, and foresight, naturally courageous and naturally courteous and polite, full of personal vanity with little sense of veracity, fond of music and loving weapons as an Oriental loves jewelry. His thoughts are concentrated on the events and feelings of the moment, and he suffers little from the apprehension for the future or the grief for the past. His mind is far nearer to the animal world than that of the European or Asiatic, and exhibits something of the animal's placidity and want of desire to rise above the state he has reached.
Well, I think the biggest leap that we made was when we struck on the idea of using masks to embody this work. In this particular presentation, each presentation with different clients I work with, they're different. And this one turned out to be, if we utilize the idea of mask, something that has huge theatrical significance in history, and we apply that to a personal experience, the personal storytelling, and we let it have all of the metaphor. We let it ripple out in all the different metaphor that it can. The masks that we wear socially, the masks that we wear politically and familially, all those different masks become a part of who we are until we realize that we're wearing them, and then we can set them down.
Through the ages, the African appears to have evolved no organized religion. And though some tribes appear to believe in a deity, the religious sense seldom rises above pantheistic animalism and seems more often to take the form of a vague dread of the supernatural. He lacks the power of organization and is conspicuously deficient in the management and control alike of men or business.
So this idea of masks was really great, especially because of the rich heritage of African tribal masks. And so we were able to come up with some really wonderful mask characterizations and different voices for the kind of the voices of the oppressors that live inside of him. So we have 4 different characters and 3 different masks, and it's just a wonderful expression and metaphor for that thing that we put on over our faces to show the world a certain part of who we are.
And now in Nigeria, there is no such thing as an open space. Every space is named, and when named, its ownership is immediately declared. A map is the ultimate photograph of politics. It is important for people to share the experiences of colonialism and all the oppressive things that have happened historically, because those experiences basically made people feel less than. They thought of themselves as not being important or powerful, and always in reference to other people. And those other people were the oppressors. So they were measuring themselves against the oppressors. They were desiring to be like the oppressors for them to matter. And so the essential selves and stories got set aside or abandoned. And so this is a way of reclaiming the very essence of who they are and bringing that forth as a gift to the world in the way that it was meant to be. My fellow countrymen, I have no answer. I have no protest. I only have a prayer. And here is my prayer for Nigeria. For those of you who have reduced us to beggars, we pray your days do not last any longer. For those of you who have filled us up with aid, we thank you for letting us endure more suffering from our corrupt rulers. But we ask you to go now. Take all your food and grains and go while we are still in a mood for gratitude. In case you do not understand, we do not want your food aid or grains anymore. Just go! What I think people need to be aware of and know and fully understand is that having one cultural mindset hurts not just who they are, but hurts everybody else. Because you are bound to come from what is called an ethnocentric worldview, which is that my worldview is the right worldview, and you are going to want everybody else to subscribe to it, rather than affirming and celebrating who they are. And that is what colonialism does. That is what the missionary activities, of the past, and in some cases of the present, continues to do. It is in trying to make people who they are not, or make people become like me, for them to be enough. And that is just not right, because our world is based on diversity of forms, of cultures, of preferences and choices, as opposed to one way of seeing and being in the world.
I think that what a lot of people don't know is how much extraordinary there is in the ordinary life. Everybody has a story, and almost invariably will involve some kind of obstacle that they've pushed up against at one point or another in their life, the way they overcame it. Some of the most fabulous stories that anybody ever tells me when I'm working with them personally are their stories of personal failure. When something is the stakes are so high and it seemingly crashes and burns for them. The redemption that exists in there, it may not be in the moment. Somewhere down the line, the understanding comes to the storyteller, the person speaking, that this was an amazing gift in some way or another. So the process of storytelling allows people to understand this gift that is always being given to them by the universe. It's a friendly one. Everything is for us. It's not things aren't happening to us. They're happening for us. So how do you understand that? You have to kind of step back and gain some objectivity about something that you were incredibly emotionally involved in at one point or another in your life. And then you can start to see it as the gift that it exists, what it is that's there for us. Okokon does an amazing job with that in all of the stories of the hardship that he's had to overcome in his life, and in particular the voices that continue to live inside him that have told him things like he wasn't okay, that there was something wrong with him.
I wanted so badly to belong. I wanted so badly to be someone.
And that's just like all of us. We're all trying to kind of do battle with that voice off and on through our lives. And as we start to tell the story, we can hear it almost as if it's coming from somebody else or something outside of us. And then we have the choice to listen to it or not. So this freedom of not to have to listen to a voice that says there's something wrong with you, it's a wonderful liberation.
What happens when healing occurs is that people become full and free. Free to be themselves, because a lot of people are living with guilt from the past, as opposed to being free and forgiven. So in a healing process, I can ask for forgiveness so I can let go of whatever baggage it is that I am carrying from the past, so we can now relate at a whole new level full of freedom.
If you have an idea for a common ground piece that pertains to North Central Minnesota, email us at legacy@lptv.org or call us 218-333-3022. To view any episode of Common Ground online, visit us at lptv.org. To order individual segments or entire episodes of Common Ground, please call 218-333-3020. Common Ground is brought to you by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund with money from the vote of the people on the 4th of November, 2008.